This is our Neuroflex Restorative FootEase. It's the same plastic inside, the same base as our Flex Boot, but just with a little more simple padding. Therefore, we call it the FootEase. If you have just plantar flexion, you have foot drop, then this is a great boot, and it's very simple to put on. If you have more a severe ankle contracture and any inversion, eversion, then you want the Flex Boot. But this boot is wonderful for so many people. It has a non-skid sole that you're going to put on when they're out of bed. Even for transfers, it keeps them from sliding when you're going from bed to chair, chair to commode. Or if you're doing just, short walking, again, like from chair to commode. But that comes off when you put them in bed, so what's on the floor stays on the floor and not in their bed. You're simply going to fit the boot. I would loosen this up. Once you fit it, then these will stay the same until a therapist or the appropriate person, the orthotic fitter, redoes these. Orthotic fitters fit by far the majority of restorative contracture devices. They're specially trained for that, and they're very good at it, and they understand the neurological component of these patients, unlike orthopedic. So I'm going to open the flap that goes over the foot. I'm going to open the talus strap, and I'm going to open this. Now, if you need to mold this boot, excuse me, here is the plastic that's inside this boot, and this is a very common mold. Now again, if you're this severe, I would not do the FootEase, I would go to Flex Boot, but I wanted you to see how easy it is to mold. You want to make the patient not make the patient fit the splint, you want to make the splint fit the patient. You can't put a contracture patient in a 90-degree boot. You're going to set them up for shearing, for wounds, and we have to be very careful. Someone diabetic, you create a wound on their heel or somewhere on their foot, they can lose their whole leg, so it's very serious. And again, we have to keep people's feet to where they can stand. Weight bearing is vital for their health and welfare, for the integrity of their long bones. It requires that weight bearing type of tension, that stress, to maintain the minerals in the long bone. There's a rotator bar. If you have, let's say this is on my right foot and I have external hip rotation, this will help. It's like a kickstand on a bike or a motorcycle. If I am rotating in, then you would use the kickstand on this side. We call it a rotator bar. These are the D-rings that the strap goes through. If you want to know more about how to heat mold this boot, you can refer to the restorativemedical.com website. You go to product, you choose the FootEase or the Flex Boot, and the videos will be at the bottom of that page. Now we started putting labels on the rotator bar cover because people didn't always look to see that there is a rotator bar here. You simply open that up, put it back, or you open this side up, or put it back. The reason for this is if you're not using the rotator bar, our patients move and they may cross their legs and rub, and we don't want anything that isn't covered, if at all possible, that might hurt the other leg. Many times though, patients who require one boot, if they're a contracture patient, they may require two. I also have our pediatric boot here. These start at 3-inch little feet and go all the way up to our adult versions. The adults are up to 8 inches for small. Medium goes up to 9.5. The large is up to 11. Extra large is up to 13, and then we make whatever size you need if it's over that. The pediatric version goes up to 8 inches incrementally. So if you have a thin patient that has an 8-inch foot, you would order the pediatric version that will have a little more narrow profile to fit them. Okay, for this, let's say we already have our heat milding done if we need to. And my rule of thumb is if I'm lacking even 15 degrees of being able to bring that foot up to normal, I'm going to heat mold the plastic. And you just go right about where this hole is. It's about a 1/2 inch from where the heel, the sole hits the surface. And I'm going to mold it there and bend it down to meet the sole of the patient's foot. If their toes are firing down in extensor tone, then I'm going to mold that down. It's just like a hand splint. We want them to be able to pull into the tone with that mild resistance that brings them back, and in about 15 minutes, maybe less, you will see them relax. So that's very important. Also, we show you on the website how to put the padding back on, and that's very simple. One of the keys parts is you would, when you put it on, you flatten out the boot so this just velcros together like you would be zipping a garment. It makes it very simple, but do refer to the website. Those videos are there to help you. But we're going to put our patient's foot in the device. You're going to put their heel down as far as you can in the back. This plastic suspends the heel so you don't have to worry about pressure. With the way it's designed, you're going to hold their foot in that. So I'm usually here with the patient. I'm going to hold their foot and snug that around. Now I'll take my finger and go under the padding to make sure there's no pressure. I'm going to feel the top of their foot and make sure I feel a pedal pulse. And I'm going to watch their toes, just notice them every so often, every few minutes, to make sure that they're normal color, they're not blanching, they're not swelling, they're not red. And if the patient complains of any numbness and tingling, we're certainly going to pay attention to them. You would immediately loosen the straps. Okay, this is going to go around the calf, around the lower leg. If you have a larger calf, this is very easily heat moldable, again with a heat gun. And a heat gun can be purchased at any place that sells paint, your Lowe's, your Home Depot, hardware stores. It's just like a hairdryer on steroids, but it's very hot. Wear gloves when you use them. But you heat mold a surface, you don't just hold it on a spot, and you would just gradually bring this out to the circumference you need. Don't heat mold any in here, because this is designed to hold the rotator bar, and if you soften that plastic, it will lose that shape. So just bring the wings out a little bit. Okay, now you're going to make sure that heel is down in the boot. I'm going to wrap this around. The talus strap is the really important part to hold you into 90 degrees. And there's plenty of loop material to hook that to make sure it's snug, which again, you want to be able to run your finger under both sides of it. You do not want to put this tight enough that it causes any restriction of blood flow, any swelling, any problems like that. And part of the important part is if it needs to be molded, we're going to remold it. It all works together. Now, your straps are where you can, they have elastic properties, and your patient is going to be able to work through their tone with that tension that brings them back. And as I said, in about 15, maybe 20 minutes, you should see that relaxation. Sometimes that can have a profound effect on the rest of their body, so it's very important to allow them to go through that process. Don't just pull them up so tight that you feel like you're going to be able to correct them. You can't just shove their feet back up. But you do want this snug. If the foot is going a little bit in one direction versus the other, let's say they're going out, I'm going to make this side a little more snug than this one, just to give that a little tug. All you're doing is a tug toward normal alignment, and again, reducing the tone. Once these are set, only the fitter or a therapist should be changing the angle. If your foot is just down, you want these symmetrical where they're tugging up at the same length. To take the boot off, you simply open this, tuck it, the Velcro back. You're going to open the talus strap, tuck the Velcro back, it's out of the way. Open this, again, tuck the Velcro back, and you simply take it off your patient's foot. When it's time to put it back on, you lay it under their foot and you begin again. It's very simple and easy, and this is the Neuroflex Restorative FootEase boot.